the agenda. We have the agenda. Are there any extra items on the agenda? Okay. And then could we have the approval of the minutes for August 21st, 2023, the last meeting of the last term? Could I have a motion? Ross, seconded by Peter.
Yep.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay, election of the chair for this year. Now, I was last year filled in, and I'm willing to stand again this year, and on the hope and understanding that my colleague Ross will step in 2025. Is that a reasonable assumption, Ross?
Yes, it is.
Subject to course, unexpected circumstances, but so that was our suggestion. Are there any other members who would like to stand? Because I'm quite happy to step back if that's the case.
No.
Nancy, I'm assuming you're okay? No. Okay. And we make the motion, I guess, yeah.
Well, I can make the motion that David takes the position of chair of the beach day.
Okay. Any all in favor? Great. Okay, thank you, everybody. Okay, so there we go for this year. Council, status of recommendations to council. I think you've already cleared with council, right, the date. So in a sense, that's already been taken care of, which is July 21st, when the tide is about a little after noon, and it's a good low tide, so we would run the event from 11 to 3. I think that was the discussion we had last August. I think it still makes sense, does it? Okay. All right. Referrals from council. Do we have referrals from council? No. Okay. There's the motion for council from December 6th for July 21st. Okay. All right. New business. Meeting scheduled for 2024. Is this time work for you, Ann? I know you usually have better. You can get to your other commitments. So 10 o'clock on a Monday? Yeah. Right. Nancy, work for you as well as any time? Yeah. Okay. So it would be what is it, second Monday or third?
I believe, let me just pull up terms of reference.
Which would mean the next meeting would be February the...
Yeah, so our regular meetings are the third Monday of each month, except for September, October, November at 10 a.m. is the current in terms of reference. I would like to recommend that we change it from the committee room to the Brown room at the Civic Center, just because there's more availability for meeting times there than there is in the committee room at Town Hall. But the day and time is up to the committee.
Okay, so that's one of the small rooms at the center, off the side?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that make me...
Yes.
I was going to say, I like this location and that I can just run over from the office, but I mean, it's not a big deal if it's availability issues.
Yeah. I think
I have to drive rather than walk.
Yeah.
The issue with the availability of the committee room is we often have directors meetings at 9 o'clock on Mondays. And if it's just the directors, we can move the directors to other rooms, but every once in a while, we'll have a larger management committee meeting, and that's the only meeting space that really fits them. So when it does happen, I did have them scheduled for the committee room for as many as possible, but in the invites, some of them are for the council chamber, just because of the availability, but if you are going back and forth between here and the committee room, you can also just leave it as the committee room and then advise when we need to move them as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can try that, but it's nice to have one location. We don't have to keep moving around. Okay. So Nancy, thanks for accommodating us on that, if that's possible. All right.
Is it appropriate now to sort of raise the fact that, is there a chance for some variance on the day? Because the 3rd would be the 19th we're talking about, next month, which is a staff holiday, and I'm traveling that night, so I can't be there. But more importantly, it's staff, and I don't think you want to be here.
Yeah, so if the meetings fall on a stat, it goes to the next day, so they'll be scheduled for the Tuesdays. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Tuesday mornings don't work for me, because that's our weekly meeting at the office, so. So I would be able to attend on Tuesday.
Yeah, so that is just for when there's stats. We could. Yeah.
Yeah, bump it a week.
If we want to, if the committee wants to make a motion to amend the date of the next meeting, that would be appropriate.
Nancy, do you want to move the next meeting to back a week?
Yep, that works.
Okay. I second that. I think all in favor? Yep. Okay, so we'll push it back a week then.
So what is the date then? It's established. Is that the
26th?
Oh, farther. Okay.
Yes, the next meeting would be the Monday, the 26th of February.
Okay, February 26th. Yes, that's good. All righty. Now then, membership committee updates. We have lost our colleague Bob. She's had some serious eye vision issues, and she just advised us recently that she would not be able to stand again. It was her intention to do so. So that's unfortunate. We wish her the best in getting over this. So we're short one person. We have not heard from, I know Matt Breedlove indicated to me at least that he was interested in putting his name forward, but we don't know if he's actually done that. And Howard Shine, who of course is from Sources, is based in Vancouver. He told us the last meeting he was considering stepping down and appointing a local person instead. I haven't heard back from him, so I don't know if you have. Probably not.
I have not heard anything yet, and I believe we also have one vacant position on the committee, as well as Barb's. And we did advertise looking for volunteers for that, and I believe it's still open, so I don't know who has applied just yet, but hopefully we get some new blood and invite some people to apply.
Right. The other thing is that Mike Garland, who is the director of the chamber, is stepping down soon from his role. So he was planning to be here today, but in the end couldn't make it. But we're hoping that he will be replaced by the chamber. So we'll have to reach out to them, I guess, and see when a new person is appointed, because that's a valuable link to the business community. I will reach out again to Howard just to see if he has made a choice and see if I can get some clarity in that regard. And we'll come back to this at the next meeting. All right. Any other comments? Any members? Do you have any other candidates you see lurking in your sites who might be interested in putting their names forward?
How would Mike be interested in a role here in his ex officio role? I mean, maybe you ask him just to, does he live in town?
No, I don't know. Good, yeah.
Because he's very valuable member.
Yeah, he's very active and energetic. Lots of good ideas. I can do that. Yeah. Let me, I'll put that on my follow-up here. I'll call Mike and I'll talk to Howard.
Okay. I've got 2 or 3 people in mind, but I won't. I'll get hold of them and we'll see how they.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's always good to keep a nice list of new people. People come, other people step down, and that's good. And we do need 2 or 3 more to give us some extra firepower. Alrighty. Then I would suggest at this point that what I'd like to do is briefly go through the minutes of last year, just because it was a really good summary of what happened And there were some good ideas in there that we might want to just look at as we move forward with planning for this year. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. Okay, so is that okay if we spend 10 minutes going through that? So the water refill station could be better promoted. I think that's a good idea. We can keep that in mind. A designated photographer. That was a suggestion. We were scrambling after the event looking for photos. And Wesley and I just chatted, and I think I can probably talk David Cotton into taking it on if we give him some clarity around the protocols that need to be followed in taking photographs. So Wesley's a good idea. He's got a nice sign sheet you track down, which basically says, here's what the rules are. If you go to this event, you may see people with, taking photographs for the official record. So I think that's a really good thing to do. And I don't know what else we can do. And suggested, if we give David a T-shirt with an official photographer sign on it. I know Anne was saying she always asks people, do you mind if I take a photograph? And we should give David some clarity on that. So if we can get, if there is an official position that the town has, that would be really helpful for the next meeting. And then I can talk to David and give him some assurance that what he's doing is going to be comfortable for all parties. Okay. What else we got here? Volunteers, early start time, no, it's okay. Speed watch. That was a Mike idea. To kind of slow things down.
Can we just go back to the timing?
Oh, sorry.
The second point being earlier event start time may have impacted attendance numbers. So that was 11:03 last year as well. And it was 12:04 the year before. And the 11:03 was because high tide was a touch earlier. Are we back to a high tide that would facilitate a 12 noon to 4 p.m. time? I know we talked that the 11:03 seems to work well.
Yeah.
But knowing about tides and the fact that an earlier event time may have impacted attendance numbers.
Yeah, I think I looked at that. I think it was an issue with the tide, because I was trying to figure out ahead of this when we might be able to have it again.
So if
Because I agree, I think the later one is better for attendance, but I think it's tide issues.
So would we consider, rather starting in this year rather than 11? That would be really where we go.
It's a valid point. We're right. People don't get going early on Sundays, and later does attract more people.
And the food vendors as well, right?
Yeah.
They have an hour of quietude.
Yeah, it's a good point. So noon, that means we run until 4. So that means the tide begins to come in at, what's the time?
12:26.
12:26. So it starts to show it's okay for an hour or two, and then by the end you'd be pretty narrow. What do people think? I'm fine with either.
Let me just, I've got the detail here. So it's 21st. So yeah, it's high of 16, low of 1.3 at 12.1, so 1.3. So
That's really low.
That's really low.
Yeah.
Take a long time to come back.
Yeah. So what's the consensus? Anne, what do you think? Flexible? Yeah. I do take the point that 11, a lot of people don't even get rolling until 10.
And 12 would not, 12 would not have been feasible last year.
Yeah.
What would the tide be like at 4 o'clock? Do we have that 4 o'clock?
The tide would be, about just about 12 feet at that point.
12.
Does that leave us any sandbar at that point?
At 4 o'clock?
No, it won't be.
No, sorry, at 4 o'clock it will be 9 feet. At 4:01 p.m. it'll be 9 feet. So, things taper off anyway.
Yeah.
The wind goes down, so.
I think it's okay. I'm fine. Let's go with 12 then.
I think get a better turnout.
Yeah, better turnout. Okay. Agreed. 12 to 4, it is then. Okay, so a change in the official times. Okay, thanks, Ross. That was a good thought. Okay, speed watch. I can talk to Mike about that too. because he was kind of involved in that, so he'll know how to do that. So I'll follow up with him.
And then also with the timing, then, if we're starting at noon, do we need set up at 7?
You know, the challenge there is you want to keep people from setting themselves up on the waterfront. That's critical balance we strike. Yeah.
I think 7 would be too early. I think 8 o'clock probably be a good time if we're going to move back.
Yeah.
Well, and if somebody's trying to set up themselves for a picnic, I don't think that it would be untoward to say, look, there's a community event happening, we're sorry, but we're going to have to relocate. Is that reasonable?
The signage and the pylons will be in place anyway.
Yeah.
Someone will be there before 8. You know how we move them, they put them on the curb and we move them out. It's easy for a couple of us to get there and just do that ahead of time.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty, if you're not aware that something's going on that day, you're not very swift.
There's quite a few of those.
Okay, that makes sense. So we'll aim for 8 a.m. as a setup time then. All right. Layout changes. I think the one there was making sure that we had spread all the exhibits out all the way down the waterfront. We had kind of inadvertently clustered, towards the washroom area, and we didn't have enough at the other end. So I think that was just, am I right? That was a discussion about making sure there was a balance all the way down so that everyone was kind of engaged. Did I miss anything? Was that?
Makes sense,
Yeah. Okay.
Depending on the number of activities we have down there.
Yeah.
If you only have 10, then it makes a different matter.
Yeah, but and entrance tables and canopies should be kept on hand. Well, that's always nice if you've got them. We were scrambling a bit again last year, looking for tables and things, and that was a bit awkward. But that's always a challenge every year. Depends on availability. But it's a good point. Okay, town staff were helpful as ever. Couldn't do without them. How we managed to do that all those years. But anyway, appreciate that. Food vendors. Ross, did you have some comments about location and satisfaction of events?
Yeah, they're not going to complain. I mean, they're still better than their usual days for all of them. But they did comment that it was a little slow starting up, so I don't think they I think everyone would certainly come back. If the customer base was happy with the food selection, then that's a good thing too. We had the extra ice cream and had two dogs again. They were side by side. I don't think the shore was impacted by any of them. We have looked in the past for the shore to be more of a partner involvement, asking, but really, I think they just want to run their business, right? And they're happy with crowds and they staff up for the crowds. But that's sort of being their involvement. They haven't gone beyond that in terms of involvement, except to say, way to go, isn't that great? So the other ones actually, the mobile food vendors are actually more enthusiastic about.
Yeah, I think we discussed moving one of them at least down towards the stage area, didn't we?
Yep.
Two. Yeah.
As long as they don't need power, they've got someone that got their own power bank, a couple of them. That would not be a bad idea. And especially, what we can do then is you can have two somewhat similar type vendors. There might be room for one more. And you want to fill in that gap between the stage and the rest of the thing.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to move an ice cream down to the soundstage area. To spread out and
Now, if they have to be independent, are they going to be running generators or something that's noisy that's going to
No. They have power packs now, and they're not noisy, the ones that have been there. So that would be certainly a criteria that we would insist upon. There's enough space, enough distance between the two ends of the beach that if you had some overlap on food, they'd all be happy at that point.
I think families like that too, because you've got little kids, you don't want to be tracking back and forth. Things like that. They can sit in the seats and watch and eat at the same time.
You've also got knocking Hannah out there and just outside the thing. I guess they've got their infrastructure set up there, so they don't want them down to be part of it. But I think the stateside location is a great way to create some because that gap is a little awkward times, right?
Yeah. Okay, so a good idea to keep in mind. And again, the idea of signage showing people what kind of food vendors we have and where they're located. We'll try and build that in somehow as we get closer into the event. All right. Exhibitors. We had an interesting request last year from different groups with ideas to come and be part of the event. We had a discussion. I think it's important that we have that discussion again now, so as we go out and reach out to people, we're consistent. I think the sense was that because it's just an event, it's not just a fun event, it's also a learning event, that if exhibitors wish to come, we welcome them, but they have to either tell us, the participants, something about the beach or the nature of the environment, or they need to be doing something that's fun. But just to come and exhibit your business, I think the example, for example, of there's the swim club, perfectly laudable group, but what's a swim club got to do with the beach? So we have to challenge them, if you come, make it a fun thing, you know?
Well, yeah, and you know, they could be, you know, they're kids, it's youth-oriented, they're water-oriented, there's, and it was the synchronized, or was it the synchronized? So you got enthusiasts, you got parent volunteers, I'm sure there's something we could find for them to fit in with needing. Now, the issue with that, as with many others, is that they let you know 4 days ahead of time. No, not this time. So, you know, maybe if we reach out and they can dream up something imaginative on their own, right?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to have something like that. Yeah, I think to go back to this year and say, hey, we toured last year. Have you had a chance to think about it? What could you do that was fun? You know, something to do with swimming, the beach. We're open to making it an interactive opportunity. Now, we also had the Welcome Back It, which is kind of a business, you know? And it really, I felt that was just
That's promoting your own interests.
I think so. And there's a fine line. So just us to bear in mind as we go through reaching out to new groups, which we will always do, to try and engage them early with either educating or doing something that's interactive, fun. One of the two, or both.
And of those two, I mean, we saw the correspondence between Welcome Wagon and Ravensong. And you know, the welcome wagon, the back and forth was clearly, well, you don't know what you're missing by not having it, and I have a few goodie bags. You know, and so there's a different approach as well, right? And she basically, you know, she told us to go pound salt.
I think it's
cautious of microphone.
I think it's important because the event, I think, is appealing in part because it is a little differentiated. It does have a focus, and when people come, they expect to see something that's either fun or a learning opportunity. And as opposed to Family Day, which frankly is a more fun thing, and there's no similar requirements on that. So somewhat different events, somewhat different focus.
Well, and it's not like there's a lot of space where we could have a section that was just business-oriented, you know, because business is promoting themselves, so just doesn't seem to be the right fit. Now, maybe kids' sports organizations supporting, you know, promoting themselves. We had one booth that they were shared by, say, the synchronized swimmers and, you know, the local ball club, or, you know, because it's activities for kids, so there would be a little bit of an overlap, but I don't think a whole booth for each individual one, or it just gets away from what the event is. It's not.
It could be, but just to clarify that, you know, if we put the ball in their court and say, come up with something imaginative that could be fun, and here's the criteria, then that takes some energy and planning on their side, which are, you know, they're
Well, they
volunteers
could
anyway.
do an activity for the kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
I mean, there's tremendous opportunities there because you want to put the bums in the seats of the kids under 15, let's say, right?
yeah,
You want to
exactly.
get them there, not just as participants, because that's your future, right?
Yeah, well, and then you could have, like, just as an example, say the local baseball club could, you know, sponsor, you know, the plastic bats and the kids doing stuff on the beach, or the local youth golf club could do beach golf, or, you know, that kind, something where there's an activity that they're promoting for them, and then they're also, you know, we're sponsoring this kind of thing. Like,
Well, I think the activities on the beach are a little different from those activities there on the on
Yeah.
the Esplanade, really. So the question that I have here really is, what criteria do you want to apply to those activities there? Because I'm talking about Milner Gardens. I mean, I brought them in last year, but I don't know if that's a good fit or not.
Yeah.
North Island Wildlife Center, is that another one? I mean, I know it's an ecological thing, but
And I think that kind of it's not so much the beach, but I mean, people bring in injured eagles, injured
Yeah.
whatever. So there's that carryover, and I think it appeals to the kids and the families. So that makes sense to me. But Milner Gardens, maybe
know.
not as good a fit, right?
I know. So Milner Gardens, do you want me to make that contact or not?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, they're there basically as a promotion
Yeah.
for their operation down there. So maybe that's not good enough for us.
You know, that's okay if that's peripheral, right? You know, if you
Yeah,
promote
yeah.
your organization at the same time as you contribute, that's cool. Right, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's what Sources
So-
does.
Well, I mean, that's what we do too with the kites, right?
Yeah,
We
for sure.
sponsor and, but
Yeah.
we provide that. So that's what I'm saying is, I don't have a problem if they're doing that. But like the welcome wagon, that's just self-promotion. I mean, handing out a goodie bag, that's just self-promotion. It's not adding to the event.
But what you're doing, Nancy, is really, really good because you put a huge amount of energy and effort into that, and it's good for you for profile, but it's also fantastically good for entertainment and fun. So you're almost the poster child for how it should be done.
And we are scrambling, I have to say, scrambling this year. If anybody knows of any source of, the type of plastic that we use for the kites,
Oh.
because we have to do the skins, I am desperate to source the plastic because I have not been able to yet. Can source all the other, because our local kite club folded, and now that they're not doing the single-use bags, it's becoming really hard. Like I thought we could get away with the tablecloth covers, or like the table cover plastic, but it's got a little bit of a tooth to it, and it doesn't cut well. It needs to be the smooth plastic, like a typical plastic bag, but in fun colors. And I am desperately scrambling to try and source that right now. If anybody
Complications.
knows of any
Oh, yeah.
because it needs to come on a roll, otherwise, folded doesn't work very well, and we're working with a 22-inch, size frame. Anyway, that's just an aside, but something that I'm personally frantic about right now, so.
Unexpected consequences of
Yeah, and I'm
decisions.
like, if I could go with any other, like I've been looking at all kinds of different ones, and of course, it also has to be cost-effective, because they're a giveaway, right? So, we try and keep the cost to about $3 per kite, or, just because of budgets, right? So,
Some kind of recycled material wouldn't work, would it? Perhaps?
it has to be light, has to be strong, it has, there's lots of,
I'm just even thinking like
And it
old
has-
clothing or something that would be,
no, you see, that doesn't work, because they also have to be cut, and that's a time-consuming thing. Like I say, I can table covers, but they don't cut well. Just looking at a lot of different things. But it needs to be that really, like clothing would be too heavy. It has to be lightweight.
Okay, well, thanks for that, Nancy. That's a good heads up for us. I
Yeah, so if
wish
anybody
you
has
luck.
any ideas, please
Yeah.
let me know. Like I said, I'm actively looking and sourcing right now.
Okay. On Milner Gardens, I mean, they are a good group. They're local. They're located on the waterfront. We perhaps contact them and say, ask them a bit if they could think of doing something a little bit of a stretch that would link it to the beach or link it to the environment. Some of their product displays, maybe some of their plants that would be relevant would be kind of an interesting. Just ask them to think of it about how to make that orientation closer.
Yeah?
I'm just wondering if maybe at a future meeting, we could bring those ideas forward and just have a decision made on each of those cases there. So if I want to bring in somebody, North Island Wildlife Center is one. We make a decision on whether they meet the criteria or not.
Yeah, and the decision in part is what they do.
Yeah,
right? I mean,
Of course, yeah.
I mean, anyone can come in if they say, well, I'm going to come in and do this activity. Oh, super. If they come in, I want to put a booth out to talk about my business. That's different. That's not offering anything that adds to the event. So I think that it's not who is so much what they're doing.
Yes, yeah.
Well, I have two this year. One is one that Bob found, which was Echo Players.
Yeah.
And they got back to her and said, actually, they were kind of interested. They might be willing to come down and do a bit of a display of old clothing and things, which is we had in the early days. So I'll follow up with them and just see if we can explore that. So they're not obviously they're promoting Echo Players, but they're also telling a fun story about the beach and the heritage. And the other one is Nanaimo Science. They have a display that was at the Museum Day, and they do a science-oriented on all kinds of things. So that's a science link. So I will contact them and see what are you going to do that is related to the beach and the sea and the environment that's fun. So those are two examples I think that I'm going to bring back. And then we can bring it back to you say, Peter, to this table if there's a question and talk about it and make sure that we're not leading people astray or acting inconsistently.
But a lot of these are kind of quasi, even Graham Beard with his archaeological stuff. I mean, yes, there's a connection to the beach a little bit, but not much.
That's right.
But he's still very popular now.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the Rock and Gem Club.
Yeah.
It's about the science, the geography, the geology. It hasn't got to be a direct beach link. It's just got to be in that theme of science and learning around.
Just have the environmental.
Yeah,
or
some environmental link.
Just,
Yeah, which is quite different again from Family Day, which is come and have fun and do things. Great music. I mean, Family Day had some incredible music last year. Unbelievable. People wouldn't leave. They were chasing away with whips at the end. It's a different feel. Whereas we don't have a great success with music. We don't have the right venue. We don't have the right setting. We have some to its background, but it's not the same. So we're all different. Okay, I think that's, if I'm right, the only shuttle was a success. Thank you, Anne. Great. And I think you said they were going to come back this year. That'd be wonderful.
Check, but I'll reach out to them.
Yeah, reach out to them to see if they're interested. Volunteers were great. Leaders in training were excellent. Russ, you did a great job kind of chasing everybody down there. It was super. I'll go out to leaders in training again this year, and we'll use them. They were really good last year, I thought. They did a good job. And they were well organized.
Yeah, and there was, I think it was their leader, who was a student leader of sorts, or maybe a college-age leader who's very, very good. And I forget their name, but the great thing about all those kids, they're very earnest.
Yeah.
If you're going to join that program, you're earnest.
They were great, and we really appreciated them and needed the help
yeah.
because we're down in numbers, so we really needed those extra hands.
And
on
at the
deck.
other end, the dunk tank wouldn't have operated without them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and if groups like yours need particular people, you can probably, when you get closer in, let me know. And when I talk to leaders in training, I can see we have a particular opportunity for you.
Yeah, and the thing with that is that it is hard on one's back, and just physically it's hard when you're standing there, so it was good to, we had them rotate out, just
Yeah.
because for them, 4 hours of the same thing, I mean, it's a lot. We would happily have one for the same person for 4 hours, but from their perspective, it might be nice to trade them out every 1 to
Right.
2 hours, which is what we did last
Okay.
year, and it worked well.
Well, when I reach out, I'll mention to them that's one particular activity that they're very likely to be asked to help out on a rotational basis.
Yeah.
Okay, super. Okay, and volunteers, we'll get to that as we get closer into the event. I don't really have any worries about that. We'll round people up. Financial review is fine. The RDN grant, they've been signaling to us now for some years. We started out at, I think, 1,500, then it was 1,000, then it was 750, then it was 500. Last year it was 250. I think they're signaling to us that we're growing up and we're mature. So I'm going to hang off applying for a while this year and see how we do with other sources, like our friends at Mosaic, Mosaic BC.
Yeah, well, you being a Saskatchewan guy would know that I went to the wrong
Yeah.
source there. Somehow potash fertilizer is a big deal in Qualicum Beach.
So we'll go to Mosaic early this year and see if they line up, and we might get enough, other sponsors. We don't need to go to the RDN. We can do it. It's not a big trouble, but as I read it, being an ex-civil servant, they're signaling to us we need to get off that particular
Slowly weaning us.
group. Yeah, but we'll see. But my town colleagues may have different views on that. I don't know. It's so small now. It's not. Okay, so I think
David, are you
that's,
still on fundraising? Fundraising, are you talking about fundraising?
yes, fundraising.
Yeah.
Yes, the RDN.
I
Yeah.
just want to bring up, I don't know if any of you know an organization called Grant Watch. It's based in Florida. And I want to get a subscription to that for a short period of time for other groups. Anyhow, I could use that for identifying sources for funding. And they're in the, it's organized so that you can filter down and find out what is available in BC and what is available, in terms of, culture, heritage, activities, First Nations, all those things. So anyhow, I just wanted to bring that to your attention, that I want to do this thing for other groups, and I could apply it to this beach day for, events like this.
Yeah, the truth is we don't need. Yeah.
$1,000 is not much to these, so it would probably be very helpful. But we're not a nonprofit organization.
No,
So that may restrict us a little bit.
yeah, I mean, the issue is we're officially, the payments go to the town. So, because they're our sponsor and so it's kind of a question. Let's go with Mosaic this year and see how that goes. We tried the credit union last year and it didn't work. I looked at the criteria. They're really looking for a different kind of activity, I think, things that are socially engaged, I think, in the community more than events like this. They didn't fund us anyway, so. And of course, our town colleagues are always helpful in the event of a shortfall. But we aren't very expensive to run, really. I mean, the expense is in all the staff and the volunteers and time of people like Nancy who spend all the behind-the-scenes work. The day itself is not that expensive. Okay. Displays and vendors, we talked about those, I think. Entertainment and activities, we talked a bit about those. Did I miss anything else? No? Advertising. So we were pretty limited last year on advertising. What are people's thoughts about that? I think we had, not sure what we actually spent. I didn't bring my report. $1,000. Oh, here we go. Our organized,
2,000.
let's see, advertising.
112.85.
Let's see if I can see it. Yeah, so that was $350.
112.85.
That was that, which is this, 2020?
Yeah.
Oh, that's all, eh? But of course, we went around and had to raise money from local businesses to pay for the PQB News insert.
Yes.
So the real cost is actually quite a bit higher. It just doesn't show up on the books.
Exactly, yeah, because we all, like I take out a personal ad, our office takes out a banner ad, there's a lot of that goes on to make that wrap happen.
Yeah.
And they indicated that, they've been doing it kind of pretty reasonably the last couple of years, and that, we could see some increases in those costs because they wanted free promoting. But,
Right.
I mean, PQB News is a business. And
So what's your thought, Nancy, about the willingness of the business community to continue to contribute this kind of cash support?
For the most part, I think, like the office will commit to the banner part again. I mean, I will commit to the little one. There's a few other just random people in our office that will commit to that. PQB News did go out and fill the blank ones, which was good because they didn't used to do that in the past. That fell onto our shoulders to fill up all the advertising on that wrap, but they seem to be willing to take on, okay, this is what we've got now, these are the spaces that are left, and they ran with filling those now, which makes it a lot easier on our part. but whether that'll continue on.
Yeah, is that?
Tom did it, he had to fill all of the advertising.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't make a lot of sense.
No.
Because we're working for PQB News then too.
Yeah. So is that something that you're willing to talk to PQB News about and see what approach they would take this year, or who would?
I want to keep back just to dealing with the kites this year. I have some personal issues going on with a 90-year-old mother that's taking up a lot more of my free or lack of free time right now. So if anything, I don't want to be diversifying this year just because it's every day 2 to 3 hours a day right now on top of my work commitments. So I can't commit.
No, that's fine. I wasn't pressing you. I was
No,
just,
if
my
it
question.
wasn't for that issue, I would say yeah.
Yeah, it just needs to, we need to follow up at some point with PQB News and get their read on what's reasonable. Your read is just, is the
Yeah,
business.
and I jumped in last year because nobody
Yeah.
had picked it up and we needed to get the wrap happening. So I think at the last minute I said, well, what's going on? And I just jumped in with both feet and did what I could. But they're really good to deal with. I think it was dealing with the main, I got it back at the office, but whatever her name was, that's sort of the main editor, is who I was dealing with directly on that, and she was wonderful to deal with.
Okay, well, let's come back to this at the next meeting, and then we'll follow up, and we'll find someone to kind of contact PQB News, get the read, and we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah.
In addition to that, we kind of kept a pretty low profile. What are people's thoughts about the amount of energy and coverage we got? Do we need to do more, or are we at the right level, or is there a different approach?
I thought that the having the van on the beach for beach day seemed to be a good thing, which we hadn't done before. The radio promoting on the day, which is something. I guess that was the first time that was tried, or
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but it seemed to be a good thing.
And things like Facebook and so forth, those social media things, a lot of people and families particularly use those as their.
Well, Gord definitely puts the word out locally, whatever his one is for Qualicum Beach. So
I think a lot can depend on the weather as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like you can do a lot of promotion and whatnot, but when people wake up, so those things we can't control for. But I thought it was an okay level. I think maybe a little bit more, but the year before was almost too many. So I think somewhere there's a sweet spot.
Yeah, and I agree that it very much depends on weather and the timing, like we talked about earlier. I think those are, and both of them are kind of out of our control because of tides, and we can control the weather, so.
Yeah, it's amazing we've never actually been wiped out entirely.
No,
Yeah.
no.
We're year 11 now, I think. Yeah. So, but we probably need somebody, on the committee to take the lead on thinking about advertising a bit. Not complicated. PQB News, social media, what else? Just to kind of rep it. But we'll look for that at the next meeting, and either one of us will step up, or we'll find someone new to do that. Same thing on music. We'll need to have we had $1,000, I think, budget allocation last year. Is that a reasonable amount to work with this year, or should we increase it or decrease it?
Well, I think the Ian Johnston, which I think was pretty good last year, I imagine he would do it again for $150. So that would be one item that you might stick in there. He's still in his residence next to my house. So I don't know about the other, replacement for the Dave Hart, because we don't want him back, I don't think.
I'm going to suggest we make this a key agenda item for next month. Maybe Ken can be here because Ken was the lead on
Yeah.
that. And maybe we can discuss
Yeah.
it in detail at that point.
Yeah.
Would that be okay?
I concur with that. It's early days. We're just getting things rolling. Let's come back to that.
With that in mind, that if you would need to determine whether Matt was going to be involved this year, because both Ken and Matt would have to be on the same page with anything, because
Yeah, absolutely, and neither of them are here today. So I think we're enthusiastically accepting any volunteerism on either Matt and Ken's part. And so that's an assumption we're going to make, and obviously we can all work together on how to apportion responsibilities. Is that fair?
Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely, yeah, just flagging them as things we need to come back to at future meetings. All right, I think then that, exhibits. Obviously, we're going to start contacting our various potential exhibitors, many of whom have been with us for years. I've got a couple more, the Nanaimo Science and Echo Players. We've got Milner Gardens to talk about. Ross, were you the one who were contacted by the swim club? I can't remember.
I was. Yeah, I'm happy to reach out to them.
I don't remember where they came from, but
They came after the PQB News delivered the insert and all that, after the major publicity had come out. And, I think it was tremendous for them to express enthusiasm. So, and they were entirely understanding about let's get a head start on things. And we outlined the criteria, the environmental science learning aspect. And they, the leader of it, the volunteer leader of the swim club signed on to that. So, if they can do it, they can do it. And if they can't.
so we can begin, I think, to send out our various contacts to our groups and just, are you interested in coming again? And here's the date, getting on their radar, getting some initial feedback about their interest in participation. Also, food trucks, Ross. We probably should get on their agenda pretty soon too, and just give them the date and see if they're interested in coming back. Kind of get an early reading as to who's out there and who's likely to come.
Yeah, that'll be pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward. Just we've all got the email contact. It's a matter of firing out the request and seeing and then next meeting we can get the initial feedback as to how it looks. Okay.
That'll be good.
Alrighty. Wesley, anything we've missed or need to deal with?
No, I believe that's all we got on the agenda for today.
Okay. Anne? Good. 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 Nancy? Peter? Ross, very good. Okay, then I think the main thing next meeting obviously would be hopefully one or two more members of the committee, and we'll come back and talk about music and advertising and have an update on how we're doing in terms of exhibitors, and we'll call it victory. Thank you, everybody. Look forward to another successful beach day. And thanks to our town supporters for being enthusiastic helpers. Thank you. Do we need to close the meeting officially? Okay. Motion to close the meeting. Peter and Ross. All in favor? Great. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Wesley.
Thanks, Leslie.
We need some more members here.
Oh, yeah.
More than Thursday.